The silent cosmos. The vast expanse of space had never seemed so empty. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of the Generation ship Prometheus, gazing out at the inky blackness that stretched endlessly before her. The stars, once numerous and bright, were now nothing more than faint, dying embers scattered across the cosmic void. Humanity had known for centuries that this day would come. The universe, once vibrant and full of life, had been slowly fading away. Stars burned out one by one, their fuel exhausted after trillions of years. Galaxies drifted apart, victims of the ever-expanding universe. And in this cosmic twilight, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. "Captain, we're approaching the launch point," a voice crackled over the intercom, pulling Elena from her reverie. "Acknowledge," she replied, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "Prepare for final systems check." The Prometheus was humanity's last hope, a colossal vessel carrying the seeds of a new civilization and the technology that might save the universe itself. At its heart lay Project Starforge, a revolutionary method to reignite dead stars and breathe new life into the cosmos. As Elena made her way to the bridge, she passed by cryopods containing thousands of sleeping humans, each one carefully selected for their skills and genetic diversity. These were the pioneers who would colonize a new galaxy, one that still held the potential for life. The bridge hummed with activity as the crew made final preparations. Dr. Akira Tanaka, the chief scientist of Project Starforge, approached Elena with a tablet in hand. "Captain, I've completed the final simulations," he said, his eyes bright with excitement despite the vagues under them. "The Starforge technology is stable and ready for deployment." Elena nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "Excellent work, Akira. Let's hope it performs as well in the field as it does in simulations." She turned to address the bridge crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at the precipice of the most important journey in human history. Our mission is nothing less than the salvation of the universe itself. The Starforge technology we carry has the potential to reignite dead stars and bring light back to the cosmos." A hush fell over the bridge as the gravity of their mission sank in. Elena continued, her voice filled with determination. "We may be the last of humanity in this universe, but we carry with us the hopes and dreams of countless generations. It's up to us to ensure that life continues, that the lights come back on in the cosmic darkness." The crew responded with a chorus of affirmations, their faces set with resolve. Elena turned back to the main view screen, watching as the last vestiges of their home galaxy faded into the distance. "Helm, initiate warp drive," she commanded. "Set course for the Andromeda Galaxy." The Prometheus's engines roared to life, tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time. As the ship plunged into the swirling vortex of warp space, Elena whispered a silent prayer to the universe. "Let us not be too late." For what seemed like an eternity, the Prometheus hurtled through the void between galaxies. The crew alternated between periods of cryosleep and activity, maintaining the ship and refining their plans for arrival. During one of her active cycles, Elena found herself in the ship's arboretum, a vast chamber filled with trees and plants from Earth. It was here, surrounded by the last remnants of their homeworld, that the true magnitude of their mission often hit her the hardest. "Penny for your thoughts, Captain." Dr. Tanaka's voice came from behind her. Elena turned to see the scientist approaching, his ever-present tablet tucked under his arm. "Just contemplating our place in all this, Akira," she replied, gesturing to the artificial sky above them. "We're carrying the last seeds of Earth across an unimaginable distance, hoping to plant them in soil we've never seen." Akira nodded, his expression thoughtful. "It's a daunting task, to be sure. But consider the alternative, to sit idly by as the last stars flicker out, to let the great tapestry of the universe unravel without a fight." "You're right, of course," Elena said with a sigh. "It's just, the responsibility is overwhelming at times. That's why we're not doing this alone," Akira reminded her gently. "Every person on this ship, every seed in our vaults, every line of code in the Starforge. They're all part of this grand endeavor. We carry the collective will of humanity with us. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert from Elena's comm device. "Captain, to the bridge," came the urgent voice of her first officer. "On my way," Elena replied, exchanging a quick glance with Akira before they both hurried out of the arboretum. On the bridge, the atmosphere was tense with excitement. "Report," Elena commanded as she took her seat. "Captain, we're picking up anomalous readings ahead," her science officer reported. "It appears to be a star. A living star." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the bridge crew. After so long in the darkness between galaxies, the prospect of a living star seemed almost mythical. "On screen," Elena ordered, leaning forward in her chair. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a distant point of light. Faint, but unmistakably the glow of a star. As they watched, the light pulsed and flickered, as if struggling to maintain its brilliance against the encroaching darkness. "It's a red dwarf," Akira observed, his voice filled with awe. "One of the longest-lived types of stars. It must be incredibly ancient." Elena felt a surge of hope. If there was one living star, there might be others. Perhaps they weren't too late after all. "Helm, adjust course to bring us closer to that star," she commanded. "Let's see what else is out there." As the Prometheus altered its trajectory, Elena couldn't help but feel that they were on the cusp of something monumental. The universe had thrown them a lifeline, a single point of light in the vast darkness. Now it was up to them to seize this opportunity and use it to ignite a cosmic renaissance. The dying star grew larger on the view screen, its ruddy light casting a warm glow over the bridge. And as they approached, something else came into view, the unmistakable silhouette of an artificial structure orbiting the star. "My God," Elena breathed, her eyes wide with disbelief. "We're not alone out here." The revelation sent a shockwave through the crew. After eons of silence, after believing themselves to be the last sentient beings in a dying universe, they had found signs of other life. The mission to save the cosmos had just become infinitely more complex and infinitely more thrilling. As the Prometheus drew nearer to the mysterious structure, Elena steeled herself for what was to come. First contact in a nearly dead universe, the fate of all life hanging in the balance, and at the center of it all, a single flickering star, defying the entropy that sought to extinguish it. "All hands, prepare for first contact protocols," Elena announced, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Let's go meet our neighbors." The universe, it seemed, was not quite ready to go quietly into the night, and humanity, bearing the torch of Project Starforge, was determined to ensure that the cosmic fire would burn brightly once more. Awakening. The Prometheus hung in space, a gleaming beacon of hope against the backdrop of the dying red dwarf. Before them loomed the alien structure, its design unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Sleek, organic curves intertwined with crystalline formations, creating a structure that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. "Any response to our hails?" Elena asked, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Her communications officer shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. But we're detecting faint energy signatures. The structure is active, just dormant somehow." Dr. Tanaka leaned in, studying the readings on his console. "It's possible they're in some form of stasis, Captain. Given the age of this star, they may have entered a form of hibernation to conserve energy." Elena nodded, considering their options. "Prepare a shuttle. I'll lead a team to investigate. Dr. Tanaka, you're with me. Lieutenant Commander Chen, you have the con." As they boarded the shuttle, Elena couldn't shake the feeling of anticipation mixed with trepidation. They were about to make contact with an alien species in a universe they had thought was dying. The implications were staggering. The shuttle glided towards the alien structure, its sensors probing for any sign of defensive systems or potential hazards. As they drew closer, a section of the structure seemed to shimmer and then part, revealing an entrance just large enough for their craft. It's inviting us in, Akira murmured, his eyes wide with wonder. Elena steeled herself. Take us in, nice and easy. The shuttle slipped through the opening, entering a vast chamber bathed in a soft, pulsating light. As they sat down, Elena noticed what appeared to be rows upon rows of translucent pods lining the walls, each containing a shadowy figure. Life signs, she asked as they donned their EVA suits. Akira checked his readings. Faint, but present. They appeared to be in some form of suspended animation. As the team exited the shuttle, the chamber came to life around them. Lights flickered on, and a low hum filled the air. Before their eyes, one of the pods began to open, a mist spilling out onto the floor. A figure emerged, tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with starlight. Its eyes, large and multifaceted, blinked open, focusing on the human visitors. Welcome, a voice resonated in their minds, rich with an alien cadence. We are the Zarthani. You have awakened us from our long slumber. Elena stepped forward, her heart pounding. I am Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Prometheus. We come in peace, seeking to bring life back to the universe. The Zarthani's eyes widened, a ripple of what might have been surprise passing across its features. Bring life back. You speak of impossibilities, young ones. The universe marches inevitably towards heat death. We have slumbered, waiting for the last light to fade. Akira stepped forward, his tablet in hand. With respect, we believe we found a way to reignite dead stars. We call it Project Starforge. The alien's attention snapped to Akira, its multifaceted eyes gleaming with sudden interest. Show us, it commanded. As Akira began to explain the principles behind the Starforge technology, more Zarthani emerged from their pods, gathering around the humans with growing excitement. Elena watched in amazement as the aliens communicated among themselves in flashes of light that danced across their skin. Your species is young, the first Zarthani observed, turning back to Elena. Yet you bring hope where we had only resignation. Perhaps we were too hasty in our acceptance of the end. Elena felt a surge of pride in humanity's determination. We refuse to go quietly into the night. The universe has given us consciousness, awareness. It's our duty to fight for its continuation, no matter the odds. The Zarthani seemed to consider this, their iridescent skin pulsing with patterns of light. Finally, the leader spoke again. We have slumbered for eons, conserving our energy as the cosmos dimmed around us. But you have awakened more than just our bodies. You have rekindled our hope. As the humans and Zarthani began to share their knowledge, a plan started to take shape. The alien species possessed vast stores of information about the universe's history and the locations of long-dead stars. Combined with humanity's Starforge technology, they had a real chance at reversing the cosmic decline. Over the next few weeks, the Prometheus became a hub of frenetic activity. Zarthani scientists worked alongside human engineers, refining the Starforge designs and preparing for their first attempt at reigniting a star. Elena stood on the observation deck, watching as shuttles ferried equipment and personnel between the ship and the Zarthani structure. Beside her, the Zarthani leader, who had introduced itself as Xyler, gazed out at the dying red dwarf. In our youth, Xyler said, its mental voice tinged with nostalgia, we traveled the stars, marveling at their beauty. We thought ourselves masters of the cosmos. But as the eons passed and the lights began to dim, we lost our way. We forgot what it meant to strive, to hope. Elena nodded, understanding all too well the weight of responsibility. Humanity has always been driven by the need to explore, to push boundaries. Even when faced with our own extinction, we couldn't simply accept it. That's why we built the Prometheus, why we developed the Starforge. Xylar turned its multifaceted eyes to Elena. Your species reminds us of our own past. Perhaps in working together, we can reclaim the future we thought lost. As they spoke, an alert chimed on Elena's communicator. Captain, we're ready for the first test. Akira's voice came through, excitement evident in his tone. Elena exchanged a look with Zoiler. "This is it," she said. "Are you ready to light up the universe?" The Zarthani's skin rippled with patterns of anticipation. "Lead the way, Captain. Let us forge new stars together." They'd made their way to the bridge, where humans and Zarthani alike worked in harmony, monitoring systems and making final adjustments. At the center of it all stood a holographic representation of their target, a long-dead star not far from their current position. "Starforge systems are online," Akira reported. "Energy levels are stable. We're ready to initiate the ignition sequence on your command, Captain." Elena took a deep breath, acutely aware of the historical significance of this moment. "Let's bring light back to the darkness," she said. "Initiate Starforge." A beam of concentrated energy lanced out from the Prometheus, guided by the precision instruments of both human and Zarthani design. It struck the core of the dead star, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a match striking in a dark room, a spark of light blossomed at the star's center. It grew, spreading outward in waves of plasma and fire. Before their eyes, the star came alive, its rebirth painting the bridge in warm, golden light. Cheers erupted from the human crew, while the Zarthani's skin danced with intricate patterns of joy and wonder. Elena felt tears prick at her eyes as she watched the newborn star pulse with life. "We did it," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "We actually did it." Zylar placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "This is but the first step, Captain Rodriguez. Together, we shall rekindle the flames of creation across the cosmos." As the light of the reborn star bathed them in its warm glow, Elena felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had come to save the universe, but in doing so, they had found not just allies, but kindred spirits in the Zarthani. The universe, it seemed, was not content to fade away. The human touch. News of the successful star reignition spread rapidly across the remnants of the dying universe. The Prometheus, once a solitary beacon of hope, now found itself at the center of a growing interstellar community. Species that had long resigned themselves to a quiet extinction now looked to the humans and Zarthani with renewed hope. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, surveying the bustling activity around her. In the months since their first success, they had reignited dozens of stars, each one bringing life back to long-dead solar systems. "Captain," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the Krulter delegation. They're requesting permission to dock." Elena nodded. "Grant them clearance. Dr. Tanaka, would you join me in welcoming our new guests?" As they made their way to the docking bay, Akira couldn't contain his excitement. "The Krulter are supposed to be master engineers," he said. "Their insights could be invaluable in refining the Starforge technology." The docking bay doors slid open, revealing the sleek, crystalline ship. From it emerged three beings that seemed to be made of living crystal, their bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. "Welcome aboard the Prometheus," Elena greeted them. "I'm Captain Elena Rodriguez, and this is Dr. Akira Tanaka, the mind behind our Starforge technology." The lead Krultor inclined its crystalline head. "We are honored to be here, Captain. I am Exire, Chief Engineer of the Krultor Conclave. We have traveled far to witness your miracle of star rebirth." As they led the Krultor delegation on a tour of the ship, Elena couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. What had started as a desperate mission to save humanity had blossomed into a galactic renaissance. In the main engineering bay, Exire and his fellow Krultor examined the Starforge technology with unabashed awe. "Remarkable," Exire hummed, his crystalline body vibrating with excitement. "You've harnessed the very essence of creation itself." Akira beamed with pride. "It's a combination of theoretical physics and good old-fashioned human ingenuity," he explained. "We found a way to catalyze the fusion process in dead stellar cores, essentially jump-starting them back to life." As the tour continued, Elena noticed a growing tension among some of her crew. Lieutenant Yara Hassan, her security chief, approached with a concerned expression. "Captain, a word." Yara asked, pulling Elena aside. "I'm worried about sharing too much of our technology. We don't know these species well enough to trust them completely." Elena considered Yara's words carefully. "I understand your concern, Lieutenant, but if we're going to save the universe, we need allies. We can't do this alone." "With all due respect, Captain, we've managed fine so far," Yara countered. "What if one of these species decides to use the Starforge technology for less noble purposes?" Before Elena could respond, an alarm blared through the ship. "Captain, to the bridge immediately." Her first officer's voice came over the comm. Elena rushed to the bridge, her heart pounding. On the main view screen, she saw a sight that made her blood run cold. A massive ship, easily 10 times the size of the Prometheus, had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. "Report," Elena barked as she took her seat. "Unknown vessel, Captain," her tactical officer responded. "It's not matching any known configurations. They're hailing us." "On screen," Elena commanded, straightening her uniform. The view screen flickered, revealing a being unlike any they had encountered. It seemed to be composed of swirling dark matter, with points of light like stars scattered throughout its form. "I am Nexus of the Void Keepers." The beam's voice resonated through the bridge, deep and ancient. "You meddle with forces beyond your comprehension, young ones. The death of the universe is a natural and necessary process. Your actions threaten the very fabric of reality." Elena stood, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. "We respectfully disagree. Life is precious, and we believe the universe is meant to thrive, not wither away." Nexus's form pulsed with what might have been anger. "You are children playing with forces you cannot possibly understand. Cease your starforging activities immediately, or face the consequences." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Yellow alert," Elena ordered, her mind racing. "I want all departments on standby. And get me the Zarthani and Krultor representatives. We need to talk." As the Prometheus hummed with nervous energy, Elena couldn't help but wonder if they had just stumbled into a conflict as old as the universe itself. The mission to save the cosmos had suddenly become far more complicated and far more dangerous. In the conference room, representatives from the various species gathered, their faces, or equivalent features, etched with concern. Zelar, the Zarthani leader, spoke first. "The Void Keepers are not unknown to us," it said, its mental voice tinged with awe and fear. "They are spoken of in our most ancient legends, beings who exist beyond the boundaries of normal space and time." Exor, the Krultor engineer, chimed in, his crystalline body vibrating with agitation. "Our records speak of them as well. They are said to be the custodians of cosmic balance, ensuring that the universe follows its predetermined course." Elena leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "But surely they can see that what we're doing is good. We're bringing life back to a dying universe." "Perhaps that is precisely what concerns them," Dr. Tanaka mused. "If the universe's heat death is part of some greater cosmic plan, our actions could be seen as a disruption of that plan." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just fighting against the dying of the light anymore. They were potentially going against the will of beings so ancient and powerful they might as well be gods. "So what do we do?" Elena asked, looking around the room. "Do we give up? Let the universe die because some cosmic entities say it's supposed to?" Zelar's skin rippled with patterns of determination. "We have seen the miracle of rebirth. We cannot simply abandon hope now." Exur nodded, his crystalline structure glinting in the light. "The Krultor stand with you, Captain. We have slumbered too long in the darkness. It is time to fight for the light." One by one, the other representatives voiced their support. Despite the threat looming over them, there was a palpable sense of unity in the room. Elena felt a swell of pride and determination. Then it settled. "We continue our mission, but we need to be prepared for whatever the Void Keepers might throw at us." As the meeting adjourned, Alina pulled Dr. Tanaka aside. Akira, I need you to work with our new allies. See if we can find a way to defend against whatever technology the Void Keepers might have. Akira nodded, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of a new challenge. I'm on it, Captain. Between human ingenuity and the knowledge of our alien friends, I'm sure we can come up with something. As Alina watched the various species filing out of the conference room, chattering excitedly about new ideas and collaborations, she felt a glimmer of hope. They might be facing an enemy as old as the universe itself, but they had something the Void Keepers didn't: the combined strength and determination of multiple species, all united in the cause of life. All right, universe, Alina muttered to herself as she headed back to the bridge. Let's see who really decides your fate. The Prometheus hummed with renewed purpose as it set course for the next dead star. The mission had become more perilous, but also more crucial than ever. Humanity, along with their new allies, was about to make their stand against the very forces of cosmic entropy. As Alina took her seat on the bridge, she couldn't help but smile. Humanity had come to light the stars. And by God, that's exactly what they were going to do. Void Keepers or no Void Keepers. Helm, set course for the nearest dead star, she commanded. It's time to bring some more light to this darkness. The Prometheus leaped into warp, carrying with it the hopes of countless beings across the dying universe. The battle for the future of the cosmos had begun, and humanity was leading the charge. Cosmic rebirth. The Prometheus emerged from warp space, its hull gleaming in the faint light of a long-dead star. Captain Alina Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the main view screen as the lifeless celestial body came into view. Status report, she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that hung in the air. All systems nominal, Captain, her first officer, Commander Japark, replied. Starforge is primed and ready for activation. Alina nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Let's light this candle. Dr. Tanaka, you have the honors. Akira stepped forward, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Initiating Starforge sequence, he announced, his voice tinged with excitement and nervousness in equal measure. The ship hummed with power as the Starforge technology came to life. A beam of concentrated energy lanced out from the Prometheus, striking the core of the dead star. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a match struck in the darkness, a spark of light blossomed at the star's center. It's working, Akira exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. The spark grew, spreading outward in waves of plasma and fire. Before their eyes, the star came alive, its rebirth painting the bridge in warm, golden light. Cheers erupted from the crew, while their alien allies watched in awe, their various forms of expression conveying joy and amazement. But the celebration was short-lived. An alarm blared through the ship, cutting through the jubilant atmosphere. Multiple contacts dropping out of warp. Lieutenant Yara Hassan called out from her tactical station. It's the Void Keepers. Alina's smile faded, replaced by a look of grim determination. Red alert. All hands to battle stations. Hail our allies. The view screen split, showing the faces of Zilar, XR, and the other alien leaders who had joined their cause. The Void Keepers are here, Alina informed them. It's time to put our plan into action. Zilar's skin rippled with patterns of determination. We stand ready, Captain Rodriguez. The Zarthani fleet is moving into position. XR's crystalline form glinted as he nodded. The Krelter defense grid is online. We will not let them extinguish the light we have rekindled. As their allies moved into formation around the newly reborn star, the Void Keeper ships emerged from the darkness. They were massive constructs of swirling dark matter, defying the laws of physics as humanity understood them. They're hailing us, Yara reported. On screen, Alina commanded, squaring her shoulders. The image of Nexus, the Void Keeper leader, filled the view screen. Its form seemed even more ominous than before, the pinpricks of light within its dark matter body pulsing with what might have been anger. You were warned, Young ones. Nexus's voice boomed, resonating through the ship. The cycle of the universe is not yours to disrupt. Stand down, or be eradicated. Elena stepped forward, her chin raised defiantly. We choose to stand, Nexus. Life finds a way, even in the darkest of times. We won't let the light of the universe be extinguished without a fight. Nexus's form roiled with barely contained fury. So be it. You have chosen your fate. The transmission cut off, and the Void Keeper ships began to advance. All ships, engage defensive protocols. Elena ordered. Remember the plan. We need to keep them occupied long enough for the Starforge to complete its work. The space around the reborn star erupted into chaos. The Allied fleet, a patchwork armada of various alien designs led by the Prometheus, clashed with the Void Keeper vessels. Energy beams lanced across the void, while exotic weapons beyond human understanding warped the very fabric of space-time. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Elena coordinated the battle with a mix of human intuition and the advanced tactical systems developed in collaboration with their alien allies. Krulter defense grid is holding on the left flank, Yara reported. But the Zarthani are taking heavy losses on the right. Elena gritted her teeth. Divert power to the right shield array. We need to give the Zarthani some cover. As the battle raged, Akira worked feverishly at his station, monitoring the Starforge's progress. Captain, the star's rebirth is accelerating beyond our initial projections, he called out, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and concern. The energy output is off the charts. What does that mean for us, Doctor? Elena asked, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. Akira shook his head, his brow furrowed in concentration. I'm not sure. This is beyond anything we've seen before. It's as if the star itself is fighting to live. Suddenly, the newly reborn star pulsed with blinding intensity. A wave of energy washed over the battlefield, causing both Allied and Void Keeper ships to shudder. What was that? Elena demanded, blinking spots from her vision. Before anyone could answer, Nexus's image appeared on the view screen once more, but this time, the ancient being's form seemed less substantial, almost afraid. What have you done? Nexus's voice wavered, its usual resonance replaced by something akin to awe. This is not possible. Elena stepped forward, her voice firm. We've given the universe a choice, Nexus. A choice to live, to grow, to evolve. Something even you, in all your ancient wisdom, didn't consider. As they watched, the reborn star's light seemed to spread, touching the nearby dead stars. One by one, they too began to flicker back to life, as if responding to a cosmic wake-up call. It's a chain reaction, Akira breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. The reborn star is somehow igniting its neighbors. It's beautiful. Nexus's form wavered, the pinpricks of light within its dark matter body flickering erratically. We were wrong, it said, its voice filled with a mixture of confusion and revelation. The universe, it wants to live. The Void Keeper ships began to retreat, their once imposing forms seeming to shrink in the growing light of the reborn stars. As the light spread further, touching more and more dead stars, Elena felt a swell of emotion in her chest. They had done it. Against all odds, against the very forces that governed the universe, humanity and its allies had brought light back to the darkness. Stand down weapons, Elena ordered, her voice thick with emotion. And get me a channel to all our allies. As the faces of their diverse coalition appeared on the view screen, Elena took a deep breath. We did it, she said simply, a smile breaking across her face. We've given the universe a second chance. Cheers erupted across the Allied fleet. Xylar's skin danced with patterns of joy, while Exir's crystalline form seemed to glow with inner light. Even the stoic faces of other alien leaders were broken by expressions of jubilation. As the celebration continued around her, Elena turned to look out at the sea of rekindled stars. The universe, it seemed, was not content to fade quietly into the night. And humanity, along with its newfound allies, had been the spark that reignited the cosmic fire. The battle was over, but their work was far from done. There was a universe to rebuild, civilizations to reawaken, and countless wonders yet to discover in this reborn cosmos. As the Prometheus set course for the next sector of space, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of boundless possibility. They had come to light the stars, and in doing so, they had illuminated a path to a future brighter than any of them could have imagined. The age of cosmic rebirth had begun, and humanity was leading the way. A new dawn. The observation deck of the Prometheus was packed with beings from across the reborn universe. Captain Alina Rodriguez stood at the center, surrounded by her crew and representatives from dozens of alien species. Before them, through the vast view screen, stretched a tapestry of stars, some newly ignited, others ancient and strong, all pulsing with vibrant life. It's been 5 years since we reignited that first star, Alina began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. 5 years since we proved that the universe wasn't ready to fade away. And in that time, we've accomplished more than I ever dreamed possible. Zelar, the Zarthani leader, stepped forward, its iridescent skin shimmering with patterns of pride and joy. Thanks to the humans' Starforge technology and the combined efforts of all our peoples, we've reignited over 1 million dead stars. Entire galaxies are coming back to life. Exur, the Kreltor engineer, his crystalline form glinting in the starlight, added, and with each star reborn, we're discovering new wonders. Ancient civilizations are awakening from eons of slumber. Life is flourishing in places long thought dead. Alina nodded, a smile playing at her lips. But our work is far from over. The universe is vast, and there are still countless stars waiting to be relit. That's why today, we're here to launch the next phase of our mission. She gestured to Dr. Akira Tanaka, who stepped forward with a holographic projector. With a wave of his hand, a shimmering image appeared in the center of the room. A sleek, massive ship unlike anything they'd seen before. I present to you, Akira announced, his voice filled with pride, the CSS Luminara, the first of a new class of ships designed specifically for our star reigniting mission. The assembled crowd murmured in awe as they took in the details of the ship. It was easily 10 times the size of the Prometheus, with a design that seamlessly blended the aesthetics and technologies of multiple species. The Luminara represents the best of what we can achieve when we work together, Alina continued. It carries an advanced version of the Starforge, capable of reigniting dozens of stars simultaneously. But more than that, it carries the hope and determination of all our peoples. As if on cue, a chime sounded through the room. Alina tapped her communicator. Rodriguez here. Captain, came the voice of her first officer, Commander Jai Park. We're receiving a transmission. You're going to want to see this. The hologram of the Luminara flickered and was replaced by a familiar swirling form of dark matter. But this time, the being that appeared was not Nexus, but a younger, smaller Void Keeper. Greetings, Starlighters, the Void Keeper said, its voice carrying none of the menace they had come to associate with its kind. I am Novus, emissary of the Void Keepers. We wish to parley. A hush fell over the crowd. Alina stepped forward, her expression cautious but open. We're listening, Novus. The young Void Keeper's form rippled, pinpricks of light dancing within its dark matter body. For eons, we believed our role was to shepherd the universe to its final rest. But you have shown us another way. A way I wish to understand. Alina exchanged glances with Zyler and Exar, seeing her own mix of hope and caution reflected in their alien features. She turned back to Novus. What are you proposing? An exchange, Novus replied. We possess knowledge of the cosmos that spans billions of years. In return, we wish to learn from you, to understand this, hope that drives you to defy the very laws of entropy. For a moment, Alina was silent, weighing the implications. Then a smile spread across her face. "Novus, on behalf of the United Galactic Alliance, I accept your offer. Welcome to the mission of cosmic rebirth." The observation deck erupted in cheers and exclamations of joy in a dozen different languages. As Alina watched her crew and allies celebrate, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment and hope for the future. Later, as the Prometheus prepared to escort the Luminara on its maiden voyage, Alina stood alone on the bridge, gazing out at the sea of stars. Commander Park approached, a datapad in hand. "Final preparations are complete, Captain," Jay reported. "The Luminara is ready to launch on your command." Alina nodded, a wistful smile on her face. "You know, Jay, when we left Earth all those years ago, I thought we were on a desperate mission to save the last remnants of humanity. I never imagined we'd end up saving the entire universe." Jay chuckled. "I don't think any of us could have predicted this. It's been quite a journey. And it's only just beginning," Alina replied, turning to face her first officer. "There's still so much to explore, so many stars to rekindle. The universe is alive again, and we're going to make sure it stays that way." With a deep breath, Alina straightened her uniform and tapped her communicator. "This is Captain Rodriguez to all ships. The dawn of a new cosmic age is upon us. Let's light up the universe. Luminara, you have clearance to launch. Godspeed." As the massive new ship glided gracefully out of the docking bay, its hull gleaming with the light of 1,000 reborn stars, Alina felt a swell of emotion in her chest. Humanity had come so far from its humble beginnings on Earth, facing extinction in a dying universe. Now they stood at the forefront of the Galactic Alliance, bringing hope and life to the cosmos itself. The Prometheus fell into formation alongside the Luminara, joined by ships of a dozen different alien designs. As they prepared to jump to warp, Alina took one last look at the vibrant starfield before them. "Well, universe," she murmured, a smile playing at her lips, "looks like we've got a lot of work ahead of us. But together, we'll keep your lights on for a long, long time to come." With a flash of energy, the fleet leaped into warp, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless beings across the reborn cosmos. The age of darkness was over. A new dawn had arrived, and humanity was leading the charge into a brighter, more vibrant future than anyone could have imagined. As they soared through the cosmos, reigniting stars and awakening sleeping worlds, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at how far they'd come. From a species facing extinction to the spark that reignited the universe, humanity had truly found its place among the stars. And as for the future, well, it was as bright and limitless as the newly reborn cosmos itself.